What's up, everybody? Just want to make this video to show you guys how to use your Stream Deck as a MIDI controller. Stream Deck is normally not used as a MIDI controller. It's used for streamers, for other things, but with a plugin that you can download, you can turn it into a MIDI controller. That way you can use it with Soundswitch and also use it with Virtual DJ. And I'll show you how to use it with that here in a second. But basically what you want to do is go to the Stream Deck website and download the software. Once you download the software, all this stuff is going to be blank. But what you want to do is once you get there, go to more actions, click on that, and these are all the plugins that you can download. But what you want to do is just go type in MIDI. And this is the only one that's going to pop up if you do that. I don't know if there's any other plugins that are better than this one, but this is the one that I'm using right now. I just started using it about a week or so ago, so again, I don't know if there's anything better, but that's what I found. Just download it, and then once you download it, you're going to come over here all the way to the bottom, and then MIDI button. That's the plugin. So what you want to do is there's MIDI note toggle, MIDI CC toggle. You'll probably just be using the first four, but more importantly, probably just the first two more often. MIDI note and MIDI toggle, basically if you do a MIDI note, see, put it in there, populates it, and I'll show you how to change that that icon to whatever you want. I'll show you here in a second, but it'll populate it as soon as you put it on. But I did MIDI note, and what MIDI note basically will do is just on here, I don't know if you can tell, it'll just do that. Most of the stuff that I like to do is MIDI note toggle, and the reason why I like to do that is because what you can do is you can put GIFs when you push the button. So that's telling you, okay, this is on, that one's on, that one's on, and you can do any GIFs that you want to let you know that it's on. Again, with the MIDI note, you know, it just does it one time. I use the MIDI note. This is my strobe. So as soon as you let it go, it turns off. So I use that as a MIDI strobe, but you get the idea as far as which one you want to use. If you don't care about, you know, what's playing, and you know, you don't care about, you know, that, you know, use whatever you want. But basically, whatever one you want to put. Your MIDI channels, you can go from 1 to 16. I'm just going to start at 1, and then MIDI notes. This is the important thing. You can go from 0 to 127. Make sure all your buttons that you put, they're all different notes. They can be on the same channel, but they can't be the same note. If you put the same notes, then two things are going to trigger at once. So I kind of suggest, maybe if you're starting from scratch, maybe your first one being MIDI note 1. So this is, you know, your first button, and then this will be MIDI note 2. This will be MIDI note 3. They can be all on the same channel, but just they have to be different notes. And I just kind of just did random numbers, but as I'm adding more buttons to the Stream Deck, I'm kind of finding out like using, you know, more than one button, or the same buttons more than once. So maybe if you want, just use 1 through 127, and then if you need more, you go to channel 2, and then 0 to 127, and so on and so forth. You can basically also, and then once you do that, you know, that's all you need to do. Go to open up your Soundswitch, make sure your Stream Deck has your MIDI device. And then you guys know how to MIDI everything here. And then once you do that, press the button and it'll connect. Let me go back to, if you want to change this icon, basically click down the little drop down. If you go to create new icon, it's going to open up a web page on the Stream Deck website, and you can make your own icon or button, whatever you want to call it. So let's say you want a different color button, press that, and you come over here, and then, you know, if you want to pick, you know, whatever color you want, and then if you want to add some text to it, you can. Tests or whatever, and then you're gonna hit save. And then you name it. Come back to here, and then you're gonna put that on there because you already made it. And if my computer, well, there it goes. Okay. And then there you go. There's your button. Now, because I did MIDI note, see how it's a little darker, or actually not a little darker, but it'll just go small and as soon as you let it go. Versus again, if you do the toggle, you can do that. Now with buttons that have toggles, when you make one, it's going to give you the option of, so I just put it right there, MIDI toggle. It's going to give you option of doing 2 different buttons. So this is where you're going to put your GIF. Just download whatever you want, and then whatever GIF you want, and then set from file, find your wherever you have your GIFs and put it in there, and that's how you make that. If you want to do the intensity of the lights, so as you can tell, that turned it off. That would be, I just use MIDI CC toggle. That one you kind of have to program a little bit. There, under the MIDI control change, there's a drop down. I just use that one. That worked for me. And then the main CC value is 0, and then secondary CC value is 127. I did fade between states, because if you don't, it's basically just turns off the intensity. It doesn't fade it or fade it in or out, and if how much time you want in between the fade, and that's it. You know, basically, so you can have pages and pages and folders and folders, so you can have a ton of stuff. You can do a lot of stuff. So like, I just put a folder here. In fact, I'll come over here, and here I just have maybe just, if you just want all your colors. So you're not you're not crowding too much of your page. So a lot of stuff that you can put on there. One other thing is, I tried to plug it into my USB hub, and try to plug it into the USB hub, but it doesn't like it. It wants to be plugged directly into the computer. I don't kind of necessarily like that, because I don't use this controller. I'm just for demonstration purposes. My other controller, I like it to be plugged directly into the laptop, but I messed with it the other night and didn't seem to have any problems. Maybe this is not a powered hub. Maybe a powered hub will work okay, but if I plugged it into a hub, my GIFs weren't acting correctly. They weren't acting smooth. I had some lag in it too, so that's another thing, is plug it in directly to your computer when you're setting everything out. But I hope this kind of cleared things up. Let me know if you need any questions or any help. Thanks a lot.